Hello everyone, welcome to yet another day in the clown decade. And today we are looking at the capital clown city, London. And if you have not already heard of Mizzy, then don't worry, you will probably dislike him as much as I do by the end of this video. Mizzy is an 18-year-old TikToker and YouTuber, although both those accounts are suspended because of the horrible videos he has put up on both those channels. Videos that include stunts like this.
Hello.
Hi.
You got a nice dog.
Sorry?
You got a nice dog.
She's lovely. She's family's dog. Don't run away.
Boom gang, whole lot of gangs. We outside. We outside. We outside. We're gonna fucking dog. We outside every single time.
Yes, he is the type of lowlife to just run away with someone's dog because it's just a prank, bro. And his scumminess gets even worse with this infamous library clip.
Alright, boom, we're in the library. Hey, you man are dragging it, bro. Trying to get me nicked out here. I said rip a book in front of the people then. Hey, fuck it, let's just do it. Any book. Alright, come, cameraman. I'm sorry. Come, let's go. Excuse me, what can I get a book here? Oh, sure. I'm just you right.
Yeah, fine, thank you.
Just get a bit of, can I get this book, please?
Right, okay, just 1 minute. It's a TikTok.
TikTok video ripping books, no?
Excuse me, what's your book today? You need to get out.
This is what we're doing.
Is that your book from home?
No, it's not.
Is it the library?
Yeah.
Then that, you cannot do that, guys.
Why can't I do that?
Because it's the library.
But the library, if I can get books from the library, why can't I rip the pages out of the books as well?
Because then other people can't use them.
So who gives a fuck about other people? Let me get this, sorry.
Okay. Can you get Adam, please? Guys, you're gonna have to go.
Yes, his complete disregard for other people and society is on full display there. Just going into a library, a building that is there for the public good and public education, what does Mizzy do with that sort of thing and that sort of resource? Well, he does what he can to stop other people using it. And yes, it may just be one book that he tore the pages out of. And yes, it is obviously just to get a reaction from the librarians. But if you're doing that sort of thing and putting it up on TikTok or YouTube, it is quite obvious that some sort of authorities should step in and punish this behaviour, because it is quite frankly criminal. And his behaviour only seems to get worse with the more clips I see.
What? I saw you from over there. I like your hair still. You got some nice hair. It's nice and luscious.
Are you okay?
I'm perfectly fine. We're gonna die. Huh? Why are you just smiling at me?
Oh.
I asked him a question, a serious question. Do you wanna die?
No.
Why?
Is you why? Because
Sure.
stop touching him.
Why?
Because,
You wanna die? You sure?
yeah.
I saw you from over there. You're just looking like you wanted to die.
When did we look at you?
Well, you was looking at me this whole time. Do you wanna die? Nah, bro. Bro. Do you wanna die, bro? Bro, don't even answer that right now. This is serious, bro. You trying to answer the phone? Who's calling you? They can wait. They can wait, bro. Do you wanna die, bro? Because I can take it out right now, bro.
What's wrong?
Huh?
What's wrong?
I can take it out right now. Do you want to die? Yes or no? How speak? I'm talking to you, bro. You don't wanna die? Swad me then. Swad. I lied to you, bro. I don't know why you're laughing as well, bro. Just I take it out right now.
Yes, and that's probably the worst clip, where his only goal seems to be trying to make some people feel as uncomfortable as he possibly can make them, and even make a underlying threat of killing the people he is harassing. And again, it's for no other reason than just I want to upload it to the internet to show I'm a prankster. When really, there's a difference between stealing people's pets, causing criminal damage, going as far as to imply that you are threatening someone's life, and a prank. These are just quite frankly criminal acts. From a kid who, as we will see later, literally thinks that he doesn't know any better. And honestly, don't get me wrong, Mizzy should absolutely know that what he's doing here is pure evil, to be quite honest, with absolutely no redeeming reason or rhyme to what he is doing. And this is why I actually put this down to a complete failure of well, possibly the modern world, especially London society, and absolutely the Met Police and the judicial system we have in place. Because quite frankly, this kid should have been punished long ago. As soon as some of these videos were out, he should have been arrested. I don't know how he's managed to harass and make threats like that to people and have no investigation go into him. But anyway, he also does some fairly harmless pranks as well, but still pranks that I think are beyond the line, beyond what we could really call a harmless prank, because this is him pitch invading the Sidemen charity match. And for those of you who don't know, the Sidemen is a British YouTube group made up of people predominantly from London, including KSI. And I'll be honest with you, I don't actually know any of the others. But they set up a charity match in 2022, and again, just for the content, Mizzy is here trying to ruin the game for everyone else. Simply because, well, he probably started off doing a few risque things for TikTok, realised that there were absolutely no consequences for it, and it just kept ramping up and up and up. And there's a Twitter thread down in the description of this video. If you want to see more of what he's done, simply go to that thread. But I think I've covered pretty much enough of what his standard pranks include, which is basically just things that are criminal. Although the main video that we will need to look at today is the famous home invasion in the following clip.
Get into random houses, let's go! James? James? You man, come.
Hello, James.
We need to speak to James.
James?
Hi.
James.
Is this where the study group is?
No. No. What door number is this? No.
Study group. Wait, this is not where the study group is.
got kids, man.
Oh, you got kids? Oh, sorry. Oh, I thought this was the study group. I actually thought. And this is the study group.
Yes, I mean, again, just walking into other people's houses, pretending they've got the wrong address or something like that. Again, it's just to elicit the reaction. And I just do not believe at this point that he's expecting a violent reaction. I don't believe it's for a scam or anything like that. I literally just think the kid wants whatever reaction he can get so that he has something to upload to TikTok and YouTube. For no other reason than he thinks it's funny. And don't worry, we'll get a little look into his mind a bit later. But for now, as I say, he's doing a lot of these videos and getting absolutely none of the negative consequences from it. Although the police have talked to him a couple of times before, and needless to say, because this is an 18-year-old Zoomer, he just had to record absolutely everything.
Today, you're not under arrest. You're pretty free to go. On today's episode, honestly, if you want to go, I'll post it in the
I'll read it.
We can get it done now. Yeah.
No, but I want to get it done now. Leave right now without. No, but I still have to get it regardless. The letter still have to get it regardless.
It just goes through your letterbox.
It's through my letterbox, but let me just do it now.
We can get it done now. Probably save you a bit of bother. I appreciate your cooperation.
Now, I'm not entirely sure what he is being cautioned for, though he is at Stratford Station in this clip, so I can only imagine he is at the nearby Stratford shopping centre, where he was probably causing more of a public nuisance. But clearly Mizzy just wants to get through this caution so that he can disregard it as quickly as possible. But let's hear exactly what the officer has to caution him over.
So your behaviour is having a detrimental effect of a persistent or continuing nature on the quality of life of those that look at see and the conduct is unreasonable.
So I appreciate this is really hard to hear, but he is being cautioned for having a detrimental effect on the quality of life of people around him, i.e. he's being a public nuisance, which, yes, the police should obviously get involved in and stop.
So summarised here what you've done below.
Oh, damn.
11th of March 2023, came to the massage Angels business.
I'll read it out later. Can we just get to the sign?
I'll read it. I need to read it out so you understand it, yeah.
Yeah, see what I mean? Mizzy knows what he's doing is wrong, or at least the police will have a chat with him, but he knows they will only have a chat with him at this point, which is why he just wants to get through it. He says, yeah, I'll read it, just let me sign it. Which the officer is obviously having none of, but quite like a lot of kids at school, they will just sit through the detention because they don't really care, and then just do the bad thing again. Because really, for disciplinary action like this, even when they are 18, it can be pretty effective if the parents get involved. And who knows, they might be completely unaware of all this until it's made mainstream news.
Hey, God, let's staff on a dealing with customers. Then at 4:46 in the afternoon, you went to the Black House area near the sushi, pestered the staff. At 10 to 5, you went to the modern nails on the first floor, removed barriers, and caused noise to the customers and the nail technician. 5:05, you went to Body Shop, stripped down to your underwear, and utilised the sample creams, drawing dramatic attention to yourself and surrounding customers and causing alarm to staff. 14th of April 2023, you loitered into the Popeyes and others, made your way behind the counter to film a video, trespassing, causing annoyance, stole food from the cooking area. At 8:40 in the evening, reached behind the counter, took 2 bags of food to the delivery collection area, and then returned to a group and distributed food. 24th of April, you entered the rear staffing area at Starbucks inside Westfield E20, causing nuisance to staff and affecting the running of the business as 2 staff had to escort you from the premises after the incident trespass.
So for those of you that were having trouble hearing that, because I know the audio isn't great, Mizzy this whole time was essentially harassing staff. At one point he went into a body shop, got down to his underwear and put sample cream on himself to draw erratic attention to himself. He was stealing a bunch of food from a bunch of different shops and, as I said before, just seemed to be going around trying to harass as many people as he could. So with the crimes of theft and causing a public nuisance, what is his punishment?
So not to comply with the warning. Ends the warning. Okay? Warning. Don't enter Westfield Stratford City Shopping Centre E20. That's fine by the bounds of Montfitchet Road, Westfield Avenue, Roundhouse Lane and International Way. Looking up on the map. Not to enter retail and food outlets as a trespasser. Not to engage in any behaviour which causes or is likely to cause harassment, alarm, distress, annoyance or nuisance to any person. So do you understand that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he's basically been told not to do it again, otherwise there will be charges pressed upon him. Which, as we can tell from the clips, did not stop him.
Hey, outside, cuz, like, bro, subscribe to Mizzy on YouTube, bro. We're taking over the internet.
Yeah, see, that's his reaction to getting a warning. No remorse, nothing like that, just subscribe to me, I'm going to do more of this, sod these people. So he's banned from going in the shopping centre, and essentially the coppers say, next time you harass anyone, you're going to get criminal charges put on you. He doesn't care. He clearly didn't care. Hence, he has been arrested for a second time.
Happens. The movement is real. We outside every single day. Make sure to share this everywhere.
Everywhere.
Free the guy.
Everywhere.
Free Mizzy.
Everywhere, man.
When I see
You again. Oh.
Yes, and because Mizzy had become such a public nuisance even for Twitter to realise, the Met Police felt it necessary to actually report on this case. So, first off, they said officers are carrying out inquiries to trace a man after a video showing individuals entering a private residence was posted on social media. So obviously that was the piece from before. And naturally a lot of people, including myself, were happy about this because if you home invade, obviously the police should look into you. And luckily the Met Police actually managed to do something for once. On Monday evening, an 18-year-old man was arrested on suspicion of causing a public nuisance. He is in police custody, and that's obviously the final clip we just saw. The arrest relates to our investigation into social media footage, including apparently unsolicited approaches to people and entry to addresses. Amazingly, nothing about threats either, but I suppose it's just a prank, bro, is a good enough defence for that. Well, luckily, in a way, you could say justice was served, as TikTok and Mizzy fined for entering home for prank video. And given all the other crimes he has committed, you'd expect quite a hefty sum, maybe in the region of 1,000 or so. He has, after all, been cautioned about harassing people before. So a London teenager who entered someone's home without their permission as part of a TikTok prank video has been fined more than £300. Again, that seems pretty low considering all the videos we've seen, the criminal damage we have seen, and that's barely even touching the surface of the other videos that were on his TikTok and YouTube channel that have now obviously been deleted. Bakari Bronze Ogaro, what a name, 18, also known as Mizzy, pleaded guilty to breaching a community protection order on the 15th of May. That's probably why he actually got a lower fine, by the way, because he pleaded guilty. A court heard the incident had been distressing for the victim and her family, who were at home at the time. The judge at Thames Magistrate Court also gave O'Garrow a 2-year criminal behaviour order. What that basically means is that if he goes into someone's house again without permission, he will get a much stiffer sentence. Essentially, he's been told yet again, now don't do it again. Which again probably came about because he pleaded guilty. And he probably pled guilty just so he didn't have to bother with solicitors, lawyers, and the court system. He just went in, said, yeah, I did it, and they gave him a less harsh sentence for that. Now, is he going to do it again? That's kind of hard to say because he doesn't have a TikTok or YouTube channel anymore. And obviously, because he puts his face to all of his videos, it will be quite easy to find any new channel that he has made and just ban that one as well. Though I will say one of the more interesting parts of this article comes near the end. So, Lee Sargent, in mitigation, said O'Garrow had apologised to the family. He said his client was raised by a single parent and had a difficult upbringing. He is an intelligent young man and a young man with some potential, Miss Sargent told the court. And it's things like this that do kind of annoy me. I don't really care what your upbringing was. I don't really care if you were brought up by a single parent. You should know not to do these things. And I don't like the idea of giving them a slightly more lenient sentence just because they had a difficult upbringing. I don't think it's a good excuse. I've known plenty of people with very difficult upbringings who have turned out like very normal people and perfectly functioning members of society. I don't think it's a good excuse not to punish him as much as you would just because he had a single mother or possibly father and a difficult upbringing. Judge Charlotte Krangle ordered O'Garrow must not directly or indirectly post videos on social media without the documented consent of the people featured in the content, that he must not trespass into private property, and that he must not attend the Westfield Centre in Stratford, which he was already banned from going in by the warning anyway. She also ordered O'Garrow to pay a fine of £200 as well as a victim surcharge of £80 and costs of £85, totalling £365. Which, considering the videos that I've seen, I'd say that is a very lenient sentence. Basically, don't do what you've done again, also pay just under 400 quid. So, given all this, you have all the background now to this interview with Piers Morgan, in which Mizzy pretty much went straight over to the studio after the court hearing. And here's what he had to say when Piers asked him why he feels like he has a right to harass the people in his area.
Why do it?
I wouldn't really call it terrorising, I would just call it more having fun.
Boom gang, whole lot of gangs. We outside!
Shit. Why?
Because
You're gonna die.
But let's get this out of the way first. I apologise. You see this situation that blew up on the internet, the walking into random houses? The next day, I apologised to the woman because I felt bad, innit?
Yeah, it's one of those funny things in life. It's much easier to apologise than just ask permission. But either way, I think you are a very naive person if you think he apologised because he felt bad about this woman and for terrorising her, because she did feel in distress. And now what he has apologised for is getting caught. He is sorry that it blew up on the internet and that he now has to face some sort of consequence. And he probably knew that apologising to the woman would mean that his sentence is lowered. Going off the other clips we have seen today, I do not believe he would ever sincerely apologise to any of the people he pranked. Because as he said, he thinks he's just having fun.
Like, deeper than social media, like, it went deeper than social media, that's why I didn't record it. She recorded me apologising to her. I told her sorry and she explained that she was terrified because her children were in the house.
This is just a very interesting story. Why would the woman record the apology? And if she did record the apology, I don't know. I'm just wondering why, because I've just had a quick Google round. I can't find this apology anywhere, which doesn't necessarily mean she didn't record it. I would just love to know why she would record it and not upload it. I don't understand the reason for recording the apology otherwise. The most charitable take I can give is that it was used in court, and that's about it. But either way, I think Mizzy's only apologising to damage control, essentially. I don't think he's actually remorseful for what he's done, because he's never been remorseful for the other horrible things he's done either.
What was I doing in the house? I don't know, it was a stupid video, like, I got peer pressured to say it. I don't want to say it like in that way, but...
Well, somebody else's fault.
I'm not blaming it on no one else.
No, you are blaming it on other people there. You had a choice and you made it. You made a bad one. And don't say you don't know what you were doing in the house. You've already explained what you were doing in the house. You were trying to make a prank video. I mean, you explain it here.
I wouldn't really call it terrorising, I would just call it more having fun.
Anyway, now he's trying to put the blame on other people. Let's see what he says.
I mean, you break into a house with a woman and a husband.
To be fair here, Piers, he didn't actually break in. The door was open. By the letter of the law, that isn't breaking and entering. I don't even think that's a crime to enter a door that is open. This is part of the reason it's quite important to lock your doors at night, and also part of the reason that insurance companies don't cover if you don't lock your doors.
I went into the house on my own accord.
Then why even bring peer pressure into it? This is honestly like the first time a kid gets in trouble at school, they come up with any reason they can, realise that they're going to get their other friends in trouble, and then do their best to try and go back on what they said. Anyway, Morgan then goes through a list of some of the worst clips of Mizzy causing alarm, distress, and being a public nuisance. He then gets on to the worst example of it.
You go up to women in the street and say, do you want to die?
It wasn't a woman, it was a man, and she even
There were also women that you did this to.
There was maybe a woman there, but I only say it to the man.
I'm perfectly fine. We're gonna die.
Yeah, he's just making that up. He absolutely did say it to the women. And I mean, I am clipping this out quite a lot, but this is exactly like a badly behaved pupil having to go to the headmaster's office. But it's a very cocky student, and the headmaster is clearly having trouble asserting his authority in the situation. I mean, as I say, I cut the clips out, but there was a minute-long part of Mizzy saying, no, let me explain the situation, while Morgan's trying to read off his list, and given Morgan is the interviewer, he should be the one controlling the situation. Which, to his credit, he eventually does, as we just saw. Anyway, as I was saying, Mizzy just lied about never saying, do you want to die, to women. He clearly just said it to a woman. Anyway, once again, he's asked, why is he doing horrible things to these people? Is it, say, just for kicks?
Not necessarily, but you could say that this whole public outroar just makes me laugh because people are getting hurt over something that didn't happen to them.
Yes, but people have to share a society with you, and they don't want to be the next person that you are going to walk up to at night and ask, do you want to die? Because if you've done it once, why wouldn't you do it again? And I suppose now that you've essentially had a slap on the wrist and been told not to do it again, I mean, that might genuinely be enough for some people. I somehow think that, given that Mizzy's got a lot of fame off this, I don't think this is the last time we're going to see this.
People are getting hurt over something that didn't happen to them. Everyone acts like they have this persona, like they don't care, social media is a facade, this, that and the other. But when me comes out and does the mad thing, everyone has something to say.
I mean, this is a bit of a weird argument in that he's saying Twitter and social media isn't real life, and then he's saying, why can people saying that, but then complaining about my videos that are on social media? And the reason is because they're two different arguments, really. The things that are on social media that aren't real life are things like, people only put the good things up on their Instagram, let's say, or their Facebook, so that you will only see the positive side of someone's life and you'll never see the negative. That's the facade part. The thing is, though, when you are putting up mostly unedited clips of you just committing crimes, then obviously people are going to say, don't really want this 18-year-old committing crimes anywhere near me, or anywhere near the other people who live in my country, because if he can get away with it, other people will try and do the same, since they can clearly see they can get away with it. So once again, Piers just goes into a tirade of scorning Mizzy for causing such trauma to these people that he is quote-unquote pranking, and he moves on to the topic of a clip where Mizzy was jumping on a Orthodox Jewish person, which, as you can see in the clip playing on screen, it frightened the Jewish person enough to have to run away from Mizzy. And this was Mizzy's defence of this particular clip.
But there was a trend going around on TikTok called 300. I've done this to numerous people, black people, white people, age, any types of people. I don't discriminate. So don't stop saying Orthodox Jewish person like I only targeted him and it was only him that I went for.
I mean, I do like how he has a problem with being called anti-Semitic, because I don't think that's what Piers Morgan's saying when he's bringing up that particular clip. I think he's just saying you are literally just attacking people who are completely harmless and not going to fight you back. You are essentially a bully. And yet he takes a massive problem with saying that he's discriminating or particularly targeting people, because, like most things, the issue isn't that he's targeting a particular group, it's just that he's doing a terrible thing. Because his defence was, but I didn't only do it to Jewish people. Yeah, that makes it worse.
Why are you targeting anybody in that manner?
What do you mean, why am I targeting anyone? It was a trend. It was a trend. I just done it for a trend.
What's the trend? What's the trend?
300, jump over someone at the time of the beat.
I mean, again, his excuse is basically other people were doing it, therefore I am. To which I would be quite surprised if... To which point I wouldn't be surprised if Piers said, well, if there was a trans jump off a cliff, would you do it? And typically with this trend, from what I've quickly gone through on TikTok, it's kids doing it to other kids. It's a playground thing. In other words, you are doing it to people you know, not necessarily with them knowing, but it is quite a different scenario when you're doing it to people that you don't know.
A lot of the stuff that you do could have consequences far more serious, but you don't care, do you? As long as you get a laugh.
I have remorse. I have remorse for all of these
You
things.
don't have any remorse.
What do you mean I don't have?
Yeah, I'm with Piers here. If he had remorse, he wouldn't be just saying, oh, it's just a trend, bro. Oh, my peer group was doing it and goading me onto it. I'm just doing a mad ting, bro. No, he's got no remorse for this. He only says he has remorse so that the courts will not give him a harsher sentence or fine. I honestly don't think this is going to be the end we hear of Mizzy. Anyway, then Mizzy gets a bit flustered, says, I do have remorse, you don't know my life and all this stuff, and Piers asks, well, go on then, what's your life? What's this stop story going to be? Why do you do these things? And this is what he says.
I just do it for fun. On or off camera, I do my thing.
Yeah, so he brings up, oh, you know, you don't know my life or anything like that. Okay, tell me. Nah, I just do these things for fun. Again, it's like he's being put in front of a headmaster. It's a very strange situation.
What do you mean tell me about my life?
Well, you said you know nothing about your life. Tell me about your life.
Because you're trying to get onto me because I'm black. Because I guarantee...
Because you're black?
Person, yeah, I guarantee...
I don't give a damn about your skin colour.
Really?
I mean, this is just how pathetic the conversation's getting. I didn't think it would be a good one in the first place, but yeah, he plays the race card because it works. There's just no two ways about that. But I think the funny part here is that it was Mizzy saying you don't know about my life, so Piers has constantly said, tell me then. You are saying that I don't know your life. Well, we're in an interview, I want you to tell me about your life. And then he just says, oh, I bet you're just asking that because I'm black. No, it's because you brought it up and used this as an excuse. Obviously, he's going to probe that.
Okay.
I also think you're an idiot for playing the race card when no one's mentioned your skin colour.
Really? Okay, you don't have to mention it to...
I don't care about your skin.
So Morgan talks over him, but he says, well, you don't have to specifically bring up my skin colour to let me know that you are thinking about my skin colour, essentially, to think about me in that way. But this is just how pathetic Mizzy's entire life is. It's just make TikTok pranks, have loads of them go too far because they all go viral. He then says, well, if it isn't the consequence of my own actions, and then just plays the race card and tries to say, oh, you don't understand, I'm a victim and all this. And frankly, I just don't buy it. And it's again just externalising the problem. The problem is with Mizzy himself, and he needs to come and accept that. Anyway, Morgan clarifies his position, saying, I actually do care that you are causing issues in the society I live in. I
also care about the fact you've only got a tiny fine today, no deterrent to you whatsoever. You don't show any real remorse. You don't really care, do you?
The UK laws are weak, simple as. And that's not, the UK laws are weak, simple as, and that's not my fault.
I love it. I love it. The only reason I'm doing these things is because I am not being properly punished for doing these awful things. It's not my fault that I'm doing these things. It's this country having awful laws. Oddly enough, I actually agree, but just because, say, committing adultery isn't against the law, that doesn't mean I'm ever going to do it. And just because the laws are weak doesn't mean that you shouldn't be a normal functioning member of society, but Mizzy doesn't care about that. Mizzy just wants those TikTok views.
That's not my fault. Like, in America...
What do your family make of what you've been doing?
What do my family make? Well, I don't chat to my mum anymore. And
why not?
Why not? Because I just don't talk to her. It's irrelevant to you, but I just don't chat to her, innit?
Mm-hmm.
So in the BBC article before, it was obviously mentioned that he was raised by a single-parent family. From this sentence, I can assume that it was a single-mother family, so I was actually correct before. I suppose the good part of this story is that at least his deviant behaviour is ultimately not ending up with him being a violent criminal. It's ending at intimidation, which I suppose is a good case scenario for this. But it is a shame that he's not had the best upbringing he possibly could have. It's absolutely not an excuse or a good reason for him to act the way he's been acting, though.
And what else? My sisters are calm, but like obviously they don't fully commend what I do, but...
Do any of your family condemn what you do?
No, of course not. Like obviously...
They think it's all perfectly normal?
No, there's certain videos that they'll be like, no, you can't be doing that. Like, especially just walking into the random houses one. Certainly not.
So that's a good thing. At least his sisters have good common sense. So the question is, why are the sisters functioning members of society and why isn't Mizzy? My answer to that is because, well, boys are much more susceptible to fall into the deviant behaviour, quite frankly, if their father isn't there, to lay down the law and to teach him how to be a good, healthy member of society. And with the way he's talking here and the way he's constantly chatting back to Piers Morgan and the way he clearly doesn't have any remorse, yeah, I'm not that surprised he was raised by a single mother.
But that was more of a spur of the moment thing. I just got egged on and my ego got a hold of me. And I realised that at that moment, and that's why I went to apologise the next day. After it all blew up out of proportion, and I felt like bad, personally.
I'm still a little bit on the side of, don't actually believe he apologised, just because of the, quite frankly, pointless lie of him saying that the woman recorded it. I have no idea why she would have recorded it. But again, he's not showing remorse, as you can see, because he's also externalising his own behaviour. Oh, it was other people egging me on. It was my own ego getting a hold of me. I wasn't in control. He can't just say he made a terrible decision and be genuinely remorseful for that. He has to say it was anything else. Not him, though. Obviously, Piers Morgan said the same thing. There's another little shouty match between them. And then finally, Piers asks why there's no real remorse here.
I went to go apologise off social media. I could have recorded that apology and that would have been another viral video, whether it's hate or whatever. Literally, hate brings money, hate brings likes, hate brings views. It doesn't matter. Love or hate, it still brings views.
I mean, this is the thing. He thinks that when he's doing his TikToks, he's not really acting himself almost. He thinks when he's not doing something for TikTok, then he is a different person and he is remorseful. And this is where people like me and Piers Morgan, and I imagine you fine folk in the audience, think, yeah, you're not really apologising here. Because you're not really sorry for Mizzy getting thousands of views. You actually see that as good for your status. And it's a bit like, again, when a kid goes to the headmaster or any teacher and they're told, right, go and apologise, and they kind of look to the floor and say, sorry for my attitude. It's quite easy to imagine that this is how Mizzy decided to apologise. Obviously, we don't have any actual first-hand evidence of this beyond what we can infer from how he is acting after the dust has settled from his consequences.
Why do you prefer to do the hateful stuff?
It's not like I prefer to do the hateful stuff. It's just like it's easier to do the hateful stuff.
Why are you laughing?
And
it's fun.
obviously,
yeah, really good point from Piers Morgan right there. Why is he laughing? Because he's not remorseful. He finds the hateful stuff funny. And he is right. It is much easier to do hateful content than it is to do content out of love. That's probably why Hassan Piker is the type of person who has multiple clips basically saying that he hopes people die, and then you have Mr. Beast, who literally spends most of his money trying to make people's lives better. Mizzy's right, both do bring in an awful lot of views, but only one of them is actually worth doing to make society better. And I think Mizzy actually realises that. I just don't think he cares, because he thinks that he's had a rough start in life and therefore possibly even wants revenge on society for that. And that's probably why he's laughing.
Funny.
At the time, I think it's funny, my fan base thinks it's funny, and it's we outside, innit? It's a movement. But
What's the
deep
movement? What's the movement?
Deep down, being free and not letting anyone tell you nothing. That's why I can do all of this stuff. I'm the most hated person on the internet right now.
No,
but
you're not.
Yes,
Most people don't know who you are.
Okay then, whatever you say, innit? Whatever you say.
Most people...
Mizzy at this point is unironically just acting like Eric Cartman so that he can up his fame and effectively get money and status.
Yeah, I use drugs. I can do what I want, bitch. Yeah, I have sex and I don't use protection. It's my hot body. I'll do what I want.
His highest value is just, I want to do what I feel like when I feel like. If everyone in society had that outlook, there probably wouldn't be enough people left in the world to have a society. Anyway, then Morgan berates him for acting in a very childish manner, stopping him asking questions as the interviewer, and of course, trying to externalise his behaviour, and then says this.
And then you say, is it because I'm black? As if somehow it's
See,
about a racial
he's going back
thing.
to the race card. Why are you going back to that? I said that once.
No, you mentioned it. I
mentioned it once.
I've never once mentioned your skin colour.
All right, cool.
I do like that bit. Why is he going back to it? Because you brought it up. Yeah, but I only said it once. Yeah, that's more times than I have. And that's the whole conversation. Then he has to just shut up about it because Piers Morgan's just put him in his place. Which is honestly quite rare. It's not often that I praise Piers Morgan for his interviews, but he's doing all right here, I'll be honest. Which is why I think it's right that he then asks once again who in Mizzy's family is telling him that what he's doing is wrong, and quite frankly, some of the clips are just evil.
Why do you need to go to my family? I'm my own person, so talk about me.
Because
not my
you
family.
don't...
No.
Because you don't...
Talk about me, not my family.
Yes.
I do find it quite funny that when we do talk about Mizzy himself, he has to externalise all of his behavioural problems, and then when we're asked about an external influence on his behaviour, his family, then all of a sudden it's, oh no, don't talk about them, talk about me. which is probably just the instinct of, I want to protect my family. But the problem is that Mizzy is a representative of his own family, and he's not represented them very well, I'm afraid. So it's only got to be natural that people are judging his family based on his behaviour. It's a shame, and sometimes genuinely the parents, or in this case single parent, can't do anything about it, and may have done all they can to make Mizzy behave, but they literally can't do anymore. But whatever the answer is, Mizzy is clearly quite protective of his family, so fair enough to that part. But I would love to know if they have told him, don't do these things, why he does these things.
But here's the problem.
What's the problem?
You are clearly a product of your upbringing.
No, I'm not. I'm my own person. I've always been my own person.
But that's only been true for as long as you've been 18 by the letter of the law. You've actually never been your own person. I'd go as far as to say you've probably never been your own person. You've been entirely reliant on your family to bring you up in this world. And once again, you're just like acting like Eric Cartman when he's a bratty kid.
I don't go to school and I kill people. Whatever, I do what I want.
You've had no one to tell you this is wrong.
Of course people have told me it's wrong. Family, friends, everyone's told me it's wrong.
So then why do you do it? That is what we're trying to get to the bottom of. This has really undermined his externalising of his behavioural problems. He's now done the opposite. Oh, people from outside, other peers, my own mother, he goes on to say, has told me this is wrong. So why do you do it then, Mizzy?
Because
my mother told me to stop doing something.
Okay, and that's your mother. You listen to your mother. You listen to somebody else. I'm my own person. I'm legally an adult now, so I can do what I want.
What are you going to...
Oh my God, he said it. He said the line.
Whatever. Mari, my mom can't control me. Ask her. Go on, ask her.
What are you going to do now?
What am I going to do now? Twitter, Mizzy is banned, and I'm going to be on Twitch. Yeah, I'm going to start streaming on Twitch, IRL streams, gaming streams. My Twitch is Mizzy is live if you want to get at that.
This is pretty much the only reason he came on Piers Morgan. He wanted to try and push back on Piers Morgan and then at the end just drop his acts. And he's a bit of an edgy boy now, you know. I'm banned on TikTok and YouTube, so I'm going to Twitch. Well, I'm not going to lie, Twitch is much worse for allowing their streamers to get away with things, so I can't imagine he's going to be lasting on there very long. But hey, I hope your Twitch stream really blows up, given you've got less than 1,000 people on it at the moment, despite the fact that you went viral, so well done, Mizzy. Anyway, Piers gives him one last chance to apologise. It's pretty predictable what he says.
No.
Though I don't need to come up with no sincere apology. I already have my own remorse, and I already.
You don't have any remorse, do you?
What do you mean? Okay, then whatever you.
To you, it's all a bit of a jape.
I mean, that's just true. If you've apologised once, you actually won't have an issue apologising again. If you meant it, I mean. He's obviously... There's no way I believe the woman will lie about the apology here. I can believe that the woman has been apologised to. However, all his other videos where he's frankly abused people, yeah, he should apologise for them too. But he's not going to, because he doesn't actually believe he's done anything wrong. He only cares about his own freedom to do whatever he wants. Anyway, Mizzy throws a bit of a tantrum because Piers Morgan, whose show it is trying to be the host of his own show, and it ends up with quite a funny ending.
Until you stop being a moron, people, bro. You will be treated like a moron. People, you are Mizzy,
the man didn't really
the moron. For the record, he wasn't paid for this,
Boxing
obviously. I feel like paying viewers, actually, if I'm just put up with it.
So yeah, that is Mizzy, and I wouldn't be surprised if the next time we hear from him, it is from some BBC article saying how some TikTok star has been arrested and is being put in jail. Because quite frankly, I don't think he's going to stop. I don't think he's learned his lesson. The only evidence I have is absolutely everything he said in that interview. Because part of being remorseful is the promise that you won't do it again. And if the only promise of I'm not going to do it again is I don't want to go to jail again, I mean, that's good enough for society to function, but it's showing that you're not truly remorseful. And as he says, he just wants to do things for fun, for his views, and all he cares about is his own freedom to do what he wants. So of course he's going to do things like this again. But I suppose my take on Mizzy is that Mizzy is the product of a particular societal problem that seems to be stemming not just from London but also other large cities and societies there. It's the issue of we don't seem to believe that it takes a village to raise a child anymore. A lot of these big cities are quite atomised. The people in these communities, you know, they don't really know their local shop owner, they don't really know their police force, the people who protect them. They don't, say, have a church they go to once a week to make community bonds there. And then to add on top of that, obviously having a single mother family, it's going to be quite tough to bring up a boy to not end up as some sort of deviant, and it's a shame. And that's where extended family, friends, aunts, uncles, grandfathers, all that, that's where they can come in handy and be a good role model for Mizzy here. And luckily it seems that his role models aren't violent gang members. You can tell because he isn't actually doing anything violent. He is only trying to intimidate people for views, and he just seems to have taken the wrong type of lessons from the social media age, which, to be fair, a lot of people are taking the wrong lessons from that. So what's the answer to this? Well, I think, as Mizzy says, we have weak laws. Make stronger punishments for people like this, because it is not good to have a society with people who are going to make a public nuisance constantly, like Mizzy does, because you just won't have a functioning society. No one will be able to trust each other and get anything done. Because the fact of the matter is that Mizzy is clearly the type of person who is only going to respect an authority that is willing to actually discipline him. And a £400 fine, if that, and a slap on the wrist saying, "Don't do it again, you naughty boy," yeah, that's not going to cut it. He honestly needs the hammer of the law on him, and that's just not happening at the moment because, oh, he had a bad upbringing. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter how bad his upbringing was. It's not an excuse to break the law. And as he says, he knows it's wrong. He admitted it in the interview, so it's not an excuse at all. But anyway, I don't think this is going to be the only example of someone doing this. I'm sure if we go on TikTok, there'll be plenty of viral videos of people randomly approaching other people in the street and harassing them. But Mizzy just happened to hit the algorithm this time, and, you know, luckily TikTok and YouTube did the right thing by banning his channel for these sometimes stupid and other times completely evil videos. So I suppose at least something's been done. And at least he's been arrested and he's on caution now, so if he does it again, the hammer of the law should come down on him harder. But these things shouldn't even be happening in the first place, and I think part of the reason for that is that we don't see enough of these people punished. Well, anyway, that's everything I had for you today, so once again, thank you very much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.
Whatever. I ran for Congress and won. Then I had sex with an intern, killed her, and hit her body. Whatever. I'll do what I want.